How can this offshore world exist? Who maintains it? Who keeps it all running and makes sure that the inhabitants get the best advice? Who builds the financial structure and monitors the capital flows? To answer that question, we take you to the English countryside.
There is a whole world out there of people who are letting tax havens operate. They are really three types of people. There are bankers, there are lawyers, and there are accountants. Together, we have called them the Stripped Mafia. Why? Well, because they look remarkably like me. They are probably grey-haired at the top of the tree. They are white, they are probably male, and they are professionally qualified. They probably speak English, and they quite possibly went to a British university. Most of them will be foreigners to those places. If tax havens are going to be used by wealthy people, and if it's going to be used by multinational companies, then they need to be serviced by familiar advisors. And the familiar advisors are always going to be the big four firms of accountants: PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, Ernst & Young, Deloitte. They are the constant feature of every tax haven, in fact. Without one of those firms, or maybe all of those firms being present, you really will not have a tax haven. But you'll find all the familiar names of banks, whether they are British or they are Dutch or they are French or they are US. So Citigroup will be virtually everywhere. Deutsche will be virtually everywhere. So consistently the same accountants, consistently the same banks, and always lawyers to support them. Without those three things, you can't really have a tax haven. The language that is used offshore is very careful. So we will find tax minimization. We will find neutral taxation. I love the phrase that we're looking for neutral taxation. It actually means no tax, by the way. So neutral tax means no tax. But we couldn't say no tax because that seems, well, a little unseemly, doesn't it? You know, that's, how can we not pay tax? So we call it neutral. We will talk about tax optimization. Well, tax optimization means no tax again. Let's be clear, that's what it means. But all of this jargon is designed to make everybody feel comfortable, as though they are managing an environment and making choices that are legitimate and proper. Actually, they're trying to get round the law. But of course, that's the last thing that anybody will say.
The lawyers, bankers, accountants, and millionaires don't seem to belong anywhere, but they are constantly on the move between their various investments in real estate, always sheltered and pleasantly located in a world that is not limited to London, New York, or Monaco. Which then are these centres, zones, and islands that the inhabitants of the offshore world move around in, and what do they actually look like?
The zone becomes a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. It can't be stopped, a kind of self-perpetuating agent of extra-state territory. And the free zones are facilitating capital movements because they provide incentives that help you shelter some of the taxes and allow you to own property, allow you to have cheap labor. And the laws for each of these zones are different. For instance, in Dubai Media City, there's free speech, because ABC and NBC and all of you, they're headquartered there. So you can say things which you can't say right outside the gate. The world is kind of addicted to the incentives that go with the zone. So now everything is in the zone, and it's meant to make into the zone a place where a corporate family would see a home there.
But let's look at a less exotic location. Here, for example, at the next stop on our global tax-free tour. Bishop's Avenue in London, once called Millionaires Row, it has recently been renamed Billionaires Row.